Hi friends, welcome back. We are going to be filling out the Wanderless Passport together in another video for our series of filling my journal out with me. This time we are making a journal for a stockist, and the stockist is the general store of Minnetonka, and we're really excited to have them carry our Wanderless Passport journals there. If you followed us before or seen our other videos, what we like to do is make a journal for the store, and typically it features that particular town so that when people that come to visit their shop can look and see an example of how our Wanderless Passport is filled out. But the gift shop of Minnetonka wanted to create a journal that was for a completely different destination. So pack your bags, grab your art supplies, grab your Wanderless Passport, because we are going to Paris. Here we have our trip log and our wish list, so you fill it out as you work through your journal. And then we've got our US map that you color in. And then we have our international tracking map. So the function of this is to record where you've been. It's not really about hitting every country in the world, because we want people to feel like they've accomplished something and they've gone to some really cool places. So that's what this really features. And here is our world map. So I'll color in the country and then I will write in where we went. And I like to color code that, so when we fill it in on the opposing page where you write down the continents and countries you've been to, it all matches. This is our sort of generic inspo page. I create one of these pages for all of our stockists as well. And if you don't know what a stockist is, it's just a store that carries our goods. Here I have a kind of generic jogger of what you can put in your book. This is actually already printed in the book, but we include it as a visual kind of custom so people can really get excited about it. If you want to see a video of this in real time, I'll link to the video that we have in our YouTube channel. So we're going to start off with some photos. I'm using my tried and true absolute favorite printer called the Instax printer. I've done a video review on it, and to be totally honest, I just got obliterated in the comments because I think people saw a review of a printer and they were expecting like a tech review, and I am not that person. I really meant that it was a review for people who journal about why I liked this printer and this style of printed photo. So I will link to this video. It's super popular, but like for all the wrong reasons. If you're looking for an actual tech review on the Instax printer, I'm not going to be your gal. But this is the photo printer that I use. I printed photos from my own trip to Paris from 2019. And I think I got the Eiffel Tower and the this is why the internet's so great. I can add in the place after and you can just read it. But here we're starting with so I always call these entry pages. There are 40 entry pages in every journal, but this is kind of where you put your stats and your data. So we are doing our dates, the location, which is the city and state. I like to put coordinates down because when we created this journal, we did a lot of, we being my husband and I, did a lot of travel in our trailer. And so we were going to sort of these like boondock, off the beaten path locations. And I wanted to make sure that we recorded where we were. So that's why you see coordinates in our journals. I also like to put the elevation. Elevation gain is really cool just for knowing where you are, but also if you do a lot of hiking, maybe you want to record how high you hiked. So I love recording elevation. I also like conditions because you just never know what you're going to expect. For example, we did a lot of stuff in the desert and we thought, oh, the desert's going to be really hot. Well, it's freezing at night. So being able to record conditions is like a cool thing to kind of go back and look on. And it's like building a little almanac. This page that I'm currently filling out is our accommodations page. So this is the section where if you went to a restaurant or a hotel or a museum and you wanted to write down the name of that place, you could do that there. Sometimes I'll have a whole spread dedicated to a single restaurant. So I'll put the name of the restaurant in there. You can give it a little rating, like was it expensive? Was it worth it? Did you like it? You can put your address in there of the place that you went to. So this is a fully customizable thing. And if it turns out that you're actually not even going to use that section, what's really cool is a regular piece of washi tape will fit and cover over that section completely. So you don't even have to see the pre-printed text there if you don't want to. In this example, I went and picked a hotel that was in France or in Paris, and just kind of gave it a review. So that's what we're doing here. And put in a nightly rate. I do this in my personal journals because sometimes it's kind of nice to be able to go back. Like if we want to book that hotel again, be like, oh, what did we pay last time? Is it worth it? Because sometimes when you travel a lot, you look at things through rose-colored lenses and you forget the value of the things that you had once experienced. When I build my spreads out, I typically like to start with the photos because then it gives me something to write about. What's also really nice is this forces me to pick like the best moments of a trip, because sometimes I will take 5,000 photos and I will never look at them again on my phone. So this is a really good way for me to pick my highlights and my best moments. I print those out. Sometimes I put 6 photos on a page, sometimes I put 1. There are no rules to this. Do whatever you feel like doing. It's completely customizable to you. But in terms of composition, I always like to start with my photos. It gives me like sections to work with, and I don't always have to feel like I need to write a lot. Sometimes I just need the photo to be the memory, and then I put a little, sort of highlight reel or a funny quote or something that we did there. It doesn't have to be a fully written out thing. It's just a way to design a jogger for you so that when you look back at this, you can kind of remember all the little bits and pieces that happened in between your day. This pen that I'm using here is the Mild Liner by Zebra, and these are our Mild Liner highlighters. We have them in our store. You can get them in our flagship store in Palm Springs, or you can order them on our site, and I will link to them below. I love these because they're double-sided, so one side is a brush pen and the other side is a marker, but the colors are beautiful. We have them in a few different sets. So I'm just using that to write really big and take up a lot of space. I love creating this ombre effect by layering the same color of pen over the ink that I've already used. This works really great with light colored pens. So for example, this Zebra highlighter. So after I've written down, I go in over the text and I just sort of give it another layer of color to sort of saturate it. You might also notice that I just kind of wrote over the center cover. Like there's no rhyme or reason. I'm not really thinking much about how the whole page is gonna look. So use this as permission to be creative. Who cares if everything lines up, if there are spelling errors, if your penmanship sucks, because once it's all filled out, like almost edge to edge, or you've put like actual memories in there, you're not going to care what it looks like. You're not going to care about your penmanship. You're not going to care about spelling errors. Just go in and do it. Trust me on this one, because sometimes I look at stuff and if I were to isolate just one area of a page, you would never guess that like a professional artist made that. But when you see everything as a whole, like kind of in a collage, it looks really cool. So don't be too worried about, running over the center of the page, things being uneven, it not looking perfect. That's really not what this is about. This is one of my all-time favorite hacks for washi tape, where you can carry like so many different designs and have it just in the back pocket of your passport. But I just take a piece of, like, this is I think like junk mail, I don't even know what it is, like a brochure, and I just wrapped washi tape around it a bunch of times, and I got a few different rolls, and this way I don't have to carry 6 different rolls of washi tape with me if I'm traveling and I want to do this on the road. I just wrap the washi in advance and then fold it on the card and stick it in the back. And that way I can use it as I need without having to carry all of that extra stuff. So when I went to Paris, this was 2017. I think earlier I said 2019, but it's actually 2017. And it was not long after I had quit my job. to work on this business. And so I didn't really have a lot of disposable income, but I gave myself a budget. I think it was like $1,000 to spend on like anything that wasn't food and lodging and like transportation. And so I thought I was going to buy all this fun stuff. No, I pretty much exclusively spent it on macaroons and stationery. So this is me writing about going to La Durée and just eating all the pastries. The black pen you see me using to write here is the Fudonosuke brush pen from Tombow, which I love. And once I've sort of written stuff out, I'll go back in with some markers. My go-tos are Tombows. We absolutely love Tombows. And I'm just kind of coloring in the areas that I drew. So I'll do my best to make sure that I catch every supply that I use in here, and I'll link them below. Here I'm just adding a little filler. I like to do these little circles and plus signs and dots. I call them sprinkles. One of the places when I was in France, I was there with my cousin. We were actually there for my brother's wedding, but my cousin and I had a day where we could just run around Paris on our own. And I really wanted to go to this spot, and it's actually a nod to one of my favorite movies, which is Devil Wears Prada. And there's a scene where Christian Thompson tells Andy that he is going to take her to this falafel place in Paris that will change her life. And that falafel place is La Du Falafel. And so we went to it. And I don't know if it was life-changing, but it was pretty darn tasty. Of course, I had to add a nod to the queen of all queens, Miranda Priestley. I remember my brother showing us around in the evening, and he married a Frenchman, so he spends a lot of time in France, and that's why he was having his wedding there. It was actually his second wedding to the same person. They had one in the Bay Area where we're originally from, and then he had one in France. So he took us to go see the Eiffel Tower at night because we wanted to see it lit up, but we wanted like a really good vantage point. So I just remember us running through the Paris metro, going to the Eiffel Tower and like trying to find like this perfect little spot. And it was just like such a fun core memory to have my brother take us around. And I just remember it being so hot, and we're running through Paris at night like a bunch of weirdos, but it was so much fun. I'm one of those people that thought Paris was going to be really overrated. And once I got there, like I was a little bit like a hater about Paris. But then once I got there, I sort of fell in love with it and understood like the magic of it, like seeing all of the cafes and seeing the people out and about, and it just felt so vibrant. And you know, I like kind of visiting big cities, and there's this history and this culture, and it's new and modern and old like all at the same time. I don't know, I just absolutely loved it. So this book is pretty much done. I'm just going in here and filling in little sections of color just to kind of make each little area pop, coloring in my little Parisian icons. But that's pretty much it. It's just a lot of doodles. It's a lot of little reminders of the fun stuff that I've done. And, you know, is it perfect? No. But when you put it all together, all these little messy bits look pretty cool. So I hope this inspires you to go and visit Paris, maybe fill out a passport. If you want to see this in person, go check out the general store of Minnetonka. It should be out there on display. But thanks again for going down memory lane with me, filling out my passport. And of course, if you found this video helpful or you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit like and subscribe and leave a comment.